musicals and operas on one hand, 3D CAD, data management and the cloud on the other. Now this combination isn't the first that comes to mind when you think of modern IT technology. But nevertheless, it's a fact in the new Gothenburg Opera House in Sweden where we are right now. And the PLM phantom of the opera is Håkan Jönsson. Together with his team, he has created a flexible, mobile and easy-to-use solution. So what is it you do with these tools?
Mainly design solutions for the stage. For the performances like this Turandot, there's a motorized wagon, laser navigation for that one. We have also designs for load-carrying devices like winches and so on.
Another interesting thing, the cloud plays a significant and leading role in this part of the productions, but it starts with a 3D design in Inventor.
Yes, it does. We use the cloud functionality a lot now. We bring this design solutions down to the stage, to the guys who really put things together. And they feel that they can see the design and the intentions of the design much easier and much easier to assemble the things. The iPad is a really good tool when you want to be mobile with the cloud solution.
Right. 3D and the clouds are the pillars that carries the productions in the Gothenburg Opera House. And by choosing this path, they are on track with what Autodesk CEO Carl Bass claims is the future when it comes to product development, engineering and manufacturing. We met him in Las Vegas during the Autodesk University. Welcome to the Battle of the Visions, Part 2. Now, 10 years ago, buying stuff on the internet made me and many others nervous. Today, it has become a lifestyle and probably the single most important platform in everyone's job and private life. The cloud has changed it all, internet has changed it all, even at the opera in Gothenburg. So what are we looking at here?
Well, I think you're right. The internet is one of the most profound changes that we've seen. It's incredibly important, and it's an outgrowth of probably the thing that will come to be defining the 20th and 21st century, which is the computer. It all started with this incredible computing power, but that was kind of locked away in individual machines. The internet was this ability for all of us to connect and communicate in ways, I think truthfully we've never even imagined. And our lives now revolve around it.
It also seems to me that the consumers have taken the lead by bringing their own devices. And how does this impact on things like design, engineering, product development, and, well, generally industry processes?
I think the most important part to recognize is people are using the internet, mobile devices, the cloud, in their everyday life. Now when they go to work, they expect, in fact, they demand the convenience and the simplicity they get from the things in their personal life, in their professional life. And I think it's really kind of rejiggered the equation between employees and IT departments. Why should it be so hard to do something at work when it's so easy to do at home? And that's really kind of the opposite of how technology developed. Remember, technology started, it was part of the military, it was large companies, and it would kind of trickle down to the consumer. Now you're almost seeing the inverse, where lots of ideas are starting at the consumer level, and the demands of the consumer are the ones that are driving the direction of IT departments.
This is pretty strange because you see a conservatism here from many employers when it comes how to treat product data and stuff like that.
Yes, way more conservative than the employees that are themselves in their personal lives. We do online banking, we file our taxes electronically, and yet there are parts of the company business and certainly in the IT departments where there's a real reluctance to do things, and I think some of it is well founded. There are serious issues of privacy and security, but I think in many cases people will learn to deal with that.
I think you're right there, but let's dig a little bit deeper into the background of the need, because there are some crucial challenges that carries new needs of powerful design and engineering tools, environmental issues being one of them.
Yeah, I think environmental issues have, come to the forefront. I think in most places and most people would agree about the need to add a new dimension to how we design things. That, design has historically been this dance in which you have a constrained environment, you have a bunch of things you need to work around, a bunch of different issues that you need to consider. Truthfully, for a long time, product development did include environmental concerns. And I think with things like, global climate change.
And very near things like Sandy, for instance.
Right, Sandy, and just sensitivity to energy demand in general. People have already recognized that they need to add a new dimension, as they go through this puzzle of designing something, that what starts to matter a lot is the entire life cycle of the product. And I think people have talked about it for a long time, but I think now people are acting upon it. From the moment they design, from the moment they choose a material, to how the product will eventually get disposed of. Those are real concerns that manufacturers are taking into account early in the process.
So, there are challenges, no doubt about that. And the tools needed to deal with them has to improve. And they do. Remember 2D CAD, remember 3D, the mock-up, PDM, PLM, and the cloud. The process is dynamic and happens on different levels, some more important than others. But one thing is crystal clear. Vision is one of the primary drivers in the development process. If I were to define the Autodesk ideology, I would use the word democratizing and advanced tools for everyone. Do you agree on that?
Yeah, I think that's a very fair characterization of the 30-year history of Autodesk. We've always been interested in empowering as many people as possible.
Why are visions so important for the development processes in the companies?
Well, actually, I think they're more important for the customer, because I think you have to instill in the customer a vision of what you can achieve for their business. So to me, visions are more about what the customer's view of how they can achieve their objectives with your technology.
Autodesk today presents a picture where the cloud is certainly the most important issue. It's the platform that seems to be more important. So what's happening to PLM here?
You're right. There's always conversation about the platform versus the capabilities. And in a way, they're both right in the sense that we have to have cloud-based delivery to allow more participants to improve their ability to make decisions. Now, part of the ability to do that is based on having better context. And the context can be visual. It doesn't have to be visual. So the power of PLM eventually will be ability to combine both visual and non-visual information in a single platform that participants from different parts, maybe different geographies, different parts of the enterprise, through the cloud can collaborate, can exchange information. An important element of that, the ability to understand the impact of decisions on downstream. So during the design phase, I need to understand the impact of my decision on supply chain, on manufacturing, on service. And I need to do this through visual tools, and I need to enable this through a platform, a cloud-based platform.
Well, the analyst sure loves dwelling on this topic. But what about the customers? How do they feel about it? Vision when it comes to IT and stuff like that, is it important for your company?
Yes, it gives us, so the vision is giving us, especially from companies like Autodesk, direction, how we are going to make business better, how we can provide solutions to our clients, to our customers, to our partners, to our base or our employees. Also, beside the direction is going also for us to establish budgets, so it's very important for the future.
We heard one of your customers here talking about the importance of vision for a customer. How do they react to the ideas you present today, for instance, around the cloud solutions and things like that?
So I think customers care a lot about the vision. Now, first and foremost, what vision does is it sets direction. So that's a way that a customer can understand the direction of the company. And what follows from that is where it makes its investments, how it prioritizes things. And, but equally important, certainly in running a company, is the execution. It's great, vision without execution really isn't anything. And so we try to focus equally on making sure we know where we're going and that we can actually get there.
Vision is important, but we're talking about the problems that can occur if there's a gap between the vision and what you can deliver. We've seen that in the case of Dassault Systèmes, many great visions, but it took some time before they were in place, the solutions were in place. But you seem to work the other way around. You didn't talk that much around vision, but suddenly you present solution after solution, and PLM is one of them.
Yeah, so what I would say is I think we try to talk about our vision in terms of a higher level. We try to think about what are people really trying to accomplish. And so for example, even as we talk about the vision for Autodesk, we say very simply, it's to help people imagine, design, and create a better world. And so we started a very high level. And in some ways, you could say it's almost an empty statement. On the other hand, it's deep with meaning to us. I mean, we really are thinking about how we're going to empower people to do that. And so what we go about doing is we say to ourselves, we don't need to go out there and say, we're going to do this product, or we're going to, rewrite this or that. We say, this is the direction we're going, and we're trying to find the tools and technologies that will help our customers best get there.
Yeah, you did. And we're going to look and listen to one of your statements here.
Anything that starts with the first three letters PLM makes me laugh. And what Dassault is talking about is an LOC, load of crap. And so that to me was very satisfying, because I've been kind of the loner in the industry saying that this is not a meaningful concept.
So that's a pretty dramatic way of putting things. You call it a load of crap. Can you elaborate on that one?
Yeah, what I saw was the implementation. So first of all, people made a big deal that PLM was very different than what was known as PDM, or document or data management. Yet as I went to customer after customer after customer, there were two things that were overwhelming to me. The first one was the number of companies who said they had a PLM system who really just had a data management system. And you can go to industry analysts who will tell you, it's 3/4 or 80% or 85% of the customers who say they really do PLM do glorified data management. I don't like it as one of the vendors when, as an industry, we're trying to sell something that doesn't meet, that doesn't live up to its expectations. The second thing I saw were large number of companies who had done either multiple PLM implementations, often with different vendors, multiple ones with the same, or ones in which they never saw the return on investment. That if you were to go back to the PowerPoint that they presented to their board or their executive staff and said, here's why I'm going to spend $20 million and here's what we're going to get. And then, fast forward 3 years, here's what we got. Almost all of them fell short. I think it's way better as an industry, for us to underpromise and overdeliver. And I think the PLM industry as a whole really, overpromised and underdelivered.
I would also say that the role of PLM is getting paler. It's more regarded as an invisible backbone in the system.
Yes. I think that's true. And so one of the things that we did is we looked and we said, when will this technology be right? And we developed a cloud-based PLM system. We looked and we said, what people are trying to do in coordinating extended teams, their supply chains, sometimes customers, which is certainly a outside the firewall activity, never made sense to us why you would put in an on the premises behind the firewall technology. Yeah. And we saw the cloud as something that was an enabling technology. It was going to be easy to deploy. You could do it one process at a time. So and what we're seeing now is what I would say. So right now we have about 350 companies. So in 6 months, we've grown our install base to 350 companies using our PLM system, which has to be the fastest growing PLM system ever.
Probably is.
And what we see from the companies that are doing it is they don't say they're implementing a PLM system. They say they're solving a business problem. So they might have a problem like new product introduction or quality or compliance. And what they're doing is using a tool to solve a particular problem, as opposed to, the noble goal of, I'm going to install a PLM system this year.
It's what you do with the system that counts.
Yes. And I think that's what's really important. And so we see people solving very concrete business problems, doing it in what I think is really important is digestible chunks. These are not boil the ocean strategies. There aren't these PowerPoints that go on about, the vague promises of what it'll do. This is very specifically, we have an issue about needing to do this better.
When I listen to you and others in this business, it strikes me that we see a sort of a renaissance for the 3D model.
There's a lot of interest in the 3D model, but in some ways, we've all gotten very good at the geometry, the topology of 3D models. The things that designers and engineers can express and the tools to do it with are very fluid. The really interesting part of it is what we've all done is enrich those models. There's more information being carried. There's more information about the materials, more information about the process, and that really was always the promise of 3D modeling. It wasn't modeling for modeling's sake. It was modeling in order to get better products to market more quickly.
And simulation is a key issue here, and you use the 3D model for simulation purposes. And do you think that simulation is today used too little?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's too specialized. Now, I think there are certainly applications where specialized uses of simulation are necessary, but almost every engineer went to school to learn how to build things that work. They didn't go to school, to design things and have someone else test it. Once they graduated from school, they had the skills. And so our belief about simulation is that simulation really should be part of the design process, not the end of it.
Okay, Carl Bass and his colleagues have the solutions, but what about the competitors? And what about Autodesk in the light of what Dassault Systems, Siemens and PTC can deliver? Analyst Joe Barkai is someone who should know.
What we're saying that each company focuses on different set of strength. You see, for example, Siemens PLM focuses on their industrial strength and then on visual decision making. PTC, conversely, for example, focuses on their background in engineering companies and the focus now on service lifecycle management. Then you see Autodesk, for example, focusing on easy-to-use software and basing all their strategy on cloud.
So the cloud, social and mobility, are they the winners on the IT side right now?
They are certainly the most important elements of the future IT.
Autodesk's cloud strategy makes them stand out. But tough competitor Dassault Systems CEO Bernard Chalais has another point of view.
The list of competitors that that we have today is very marginal as compared to what it will be in the future, because the players will be different. With 3D Experience platform, this is what we are doing. All our respectful competitors today, they are lost. They don't understand what it is. They are trying to scratch their head and say, what are they doing? The consequences puts us so much apart of the rest of the player, and that's what we have always been doing, that almost the comparison is becoming irrelevant.
How do you react to that statement from Bernard?
I think time will show that it's not true. We've been competing in this market for a while. Every year we gain market share. We are continuing to gain market share, and I think we have the most exciting, next generation of design and engineering tools, and I expect to continue to be able to grow our market share. On the other hand, I think it's great that there's competition. I think our, and one of the things that's true is we have lots of customers in common, and I think those customers are well served by having many companies compete for their business, try to innovate, build the best possible products, and our customers get to choose which solutions they like. So I welcome the competition. I think it makes us all better.
So you know that Dassault Systèmes, they have been criticized for not being present an open environment. Do you think that you are doing that? Autodesk, is that an open environment?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we believe strongly is that the idea of competing with the notion that you're going to have a single vendor environment, that you're going to have a homogeneous, design and engineering environment, turns out not to be true. I mean, I've been in this industry for 30 plus years. And if you look at it on balance, the forces that drive to a heterogeneous environment are way stronger than the ones that drive to a homogeneous environment.
Right.
And I think, therefore, it's a mistake if you want to compete on the basis of somehow trying to either lock in the customer through making your data, your data interoperability non-existent. If you want to make it difficult to exchange data, I think those are lousy ways to compete.
So what about the DWG, real DWG platform?
Yeah.
Is that one open?
Yeah, open is, I don't know what open means. But like, for example, we have an agreement with PTC. With PTC, we give them libraries. They have the exact same libraries we use in our products to read DWG files. They have the exact same ones in theirs. We've done it with other people, and we've made the offer to anyone in the industry.
So what about Dassault here? Did you exchange libraries with the?
No, they didn't want to do it. But we made the offer, and the offer still stands today. I mean, if they want to exchange the libraries that allow us to read each other's respective file formats, we'd be happy to do it. Like I said, we don't think this is an area where we should compete on, and I don't think our customers want us to. It's a little bit like what we're seeing in the United States, where the citizens are saying to Congress, we want you all to get along. We need you to compromise. We need you to work together in order to serve a higher purpose. I think our customers for 20 years have spoken loudly. They don't want us to do this.
The Codex of PLM openness, you were one of the few companies that didn't sign this one. Why is that?
I don't even know what it is. And nobody asked me to sign it. So there are lots of things I've never signed. There's lots of things I don't know about, so I'll just put that in the same category.
Okay. Traditionally on the mainstream market, you have been competing hard and tough with SolidWorks. But when it comes to the cloud, we don't see that much coming out from the R&D department there.
We certainly compete with SolidWorks, but I think people sometimes have a mistaken view of the industry. We find ourselves competing day to day with CATIA, with NX, with Pro-E. It's not really just an Inventor versus SolidWorks.
That it used to be the mainstream.
I think at a time, and by the way, I think people try to conveniently define it that way. There was a business purpose in trying to compartmentalize the market and say, SolidWorks and Inventor compete over here, but we do something differently. The truth is, if you take a product like Inventor or a product like SolidWorks, you can do everything with either of those products. You can do with CATIA or NX or Pro-E. It was a way for some of our competitors to try to maintain a price differentiation. That differentiation that existed early on because both Inventor and SolidWorks were newer products to the market has long since ceased to exist. In fact, I think in many ways products like Inventor are much more capable than products like CATIA.